Hey guys, what's up? My name is Zach Calhoon. I'm the co-founder of CloudPano.com. On this channel, we're going to talk about how to successfully start startups, how to grow your team, how to scale, how to validate your product, how to get your MVP out the door. We're going to teach you from real life, actual experiences, not theory, not tactics, not some third party that I helped somebody do one day. My company, I'm going to show you how we got to where we are, well beyond $1 million in revenue, and how we did it bootstrapped with zero funding raised, and how we started on the side, how we exploded, and how we're building a team. I'm going to kind of peel back the curtain to what we are doing at CloudPano, and I'm excited to share it with you because I'll tell you, I've been inspired through some recent things in life. I have 3 kids. I have 3 boys. Right now, they're 4, 2.5, and 4 months old. My co-founder, Clayton Rothschild, world-class technical architect, smart team manager of our development team, and world-class technical co-founder, also has 3 boys. And me and him both were invited to go judge some startups. And for I think it's called the Baylor New Venture Startup Competition. And as we're looking through these resumes, looking through some of these business models or ideas, we realize like some folks actually don't have like some of them the basic mechanics of how to get a startup really started, what it really takes, how to pre-validate, how to pre-sell, how to sell something that doesn't exist yet. So I saw a lot of these different resumes and business models, and I was thinking, some folks could really benefit, especially in the startup world, from the experiences we have. And I want to start documenting the journey. I want to share what we're doing, how we're doing it, how it works, and how maybe some folks like you out there will get there too. I recognize lots of startups fail. I totally get that. But how do we decrease our risk and decrease the chances that we fail to almost zero, right? How do we do that? Because failure is just a step towards validation of the right niche with the right product at the right time. So, excuse me. So how do we reduce our chance of failure to zero? Well, I have a lot of ideas about this. I have a lot of philosophy. I've read a bunch of books about it, and I put them into action. And I'll tell you this, to get started from zero, from your idea, will take a lot of work, but it is possible for anyone. I totally think that. I definitely believe that to be true. But there is some rules that apply. There is some things that you shouldn't do and things you should do. For example, ideas are oftentimes going to steer us or distract us from the reality of channeling demand and not trying to create it from nothing. So quickly, I want to, before we go off into all my thoughts and theories and what I really think you should be doing as an entrepreneur, I want to just kind of open up this video with our story. And truly, I do think, thinking back now, 3 years ago now, starting a software company as SaaS probably shouldn't be your first endeavor. And what I mean is, it's one of the harder things to build. But once you build it and it's healthy, it is the most sustainable, highest margin, most scalable business model you can possibly do. The reason why so much venture capital is poured into SaaS and poured into software companies is because of how great the subscription software and enterprise software business models are, and how when you reach certain points, all you need is gasoline. Okay? So, with that point being said, if this is your first endeavor ever, if you're trying to start a software company and you have never successfully sold something before, I encourage you to lower your goals and just go get some sales and sell something. So a little bit of background on me. I have successfully started a couple side hustles while I was working. This is 5, 6, 7 years ago now. I learned the tools. I learned digital marketing. I learned how to create websites. I learned how to create some pages. I learned how to do copywriting. I spent a season of life where I just read books on copywriting. I read Dan Kennedy books. I read books about how to write great copy so that we attract the person, the people I'm looking to attract, bring them down a journey, and then make offers that they are willing to pay for. Now, as I learned those skill sets, those mechanics from the business and marketing, copywriting, and direct response side, I also learned the massive importance of a great product. A great product creates word of mouth, and word of mouth will scale on its own. So if a great product's what matters more than anything else, and great marketing and messaging is what matters more than anything else, how do you do both? How do you do it all? And how do you get started? These are the questions I want to answer on this channel. I want to help people line up the dominoes in the right order so that you can have success. When you flick that first domino, big things happen, and you're going to look back and go, wow, how the heck did I get here? That's kind of in the situation I'm in. I'm like, wow, how did we get here? This is amazing. Years ago, I had dreams of being a startup founder, of being a successful entrepreneur. And now we're here, and I forget to even stop and smell the roses. And I'm always looking at the next endeavor, the next niche, the next campaign. And this channel is kind of an outlet for me to stop and smell some roses and give back to people and hopefully inspire others that you can do it too. So yeah, my story of starting some side hustles, I started a couple of random things that were just silly. I had a mentor actually that was selling ebooks online, and I was like, "What are you doing, man?" I was 23 years old. I was like, "Just tell me about this. Like, this is so weird." He was really good at SEO, and he found a niche market that had demand, and he just used direct response, ranked some pages, and had this money flowing into him. I just didn't understand it at the time. I was like, "What do you mean? People are just paying you that don't know you?" So I started to like mess around with this online marketing world and try to just make stuff. And a lot of stuff I made was really bad. It was just like stupid. It had no real premise behind it. I was just like throwing stuff at the wall. When you're just getting started, it's okay to throw stuff at the wall, but after a while, you need to stop doing that and get really focused on what problem am I solving and who am I solving it for. But when I went from this kind of this like trying different stuff, marketing philosophy, trying whatever I could, super optimistic about everything, to, hey, I'm going to pick one market and I'm going to cold call this market and see if they're interested in a certain service. So what happened was I went to the real estate market. I literally saw an article published through a Facebook ad or just on somewhere, so that this specific industry is exploding. Here's how many people we're hiring. Here's how many customers we have. And I was like, well, this guy in this article said he has a lot of customers, and I actually know some places to create that service. So I'm going to build a business, and I'm going to insert myself into existing demand with this real estate marketing service, and I'm going to see what happens. So I started to cold call. I never forget this. I was cold calling realtors. I went to realtor.com, and I started just to cold call. And I asked if they were interested in this thing. Excuse me. I'm not editing it out. Let's just keep it rolling, baby. And when I asked if they're interested in this thing, about 1 in 4 would say, yeah, what's the price? When that happened enough times, one person was like, yeah, actually, I'm looking for this right now. If you send me over pricing, I can get started. I said, so I was basically online a few minutes before, found the price was somewhere around $20, and I quoted her $40. She said yes. I said, okay, now we're in business. So I pre-sold this service, even for a small fee, before I started the business. And then I built the website, built the marketing, wrote the ads, I actually turned on the advertising and had a Slack channel and a few contractors that I was going to work with. I turned on the advertising and went on vacation with my fiance, now wife, Michelle, and I started getting these sales. It just started happening. I was in the airport. I'm like, oh my gosh, someone just bought. Like my PayPal went, bling, like all I had was PayPal. I put a PayPal check up and they bought it. Like they went through the process and they bought. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's working. When that happens, it's called signal, right? People are paying me. I'm not even ready to fulfill on the product. That's a good thing, right? So I remember being on vacation. We're in San Diego. We're supposed to be walking the beach. I said, hey, honey, can I run back? I need to run back to the Airbnb, and like I need to email these people and like get this order out, And she's like, what are you doing working on vacation? This is terrible. Oh, I hate this. And I'm like, oh, it's like our first fight. That's so funny. But what ended up happening was I inserted a virtual assistant into this business to run all the projects. I started the ads. I had the website existing. Before I knew it, I had a hands-free business that printed about $10,000 to $20,000 a month in revenue, and I think we're at a 40% margin. So it was doing really well for that first year, and I was just like not even touching it. Now, as I ran through all my expenses over the course of the year, the way entrepreneurship really shakes out is when you look at your taxes at the end of the year and what you actually net make, right, for the year. If that side hustle is not sustainable, obviously you have to continue your job, right? So I was doing that, had the side hustle going, and then one day I had it so sustainable. I was on the couch one night and Michelle asked me, she said, "Why aren't you working?" Typically on the nighttime, I'm working on something, I'm hustling on something. And this is back when I was 20, probably 28 at the time then. And I said, I don't know, maybe I should be. And a light bulb kind of clicked on. I said, I should do the next endeavor. So I took about, honestly, I took about $20,000 and I had it in a savings account. And I was like, I think I could invest this into a new thing. Well, fast forward, 4 years later, CloudPano has, I'll tell you the pre-validated story in a later video, how we did it, how we pre-sold it, and how we went out and built it, and how it was a struggle. We'll go through the whole process. But, fast forward 4 years later, we have 30,000 users on the platform. We have a lot of subscribers, we'll put it that way. We are a global player in the space that we're in, and we are doing very well. And we have just, we're blessed. Okay, let's put it that way. So when your users create 100,000 of something on your platform, so for us, over 100,000 virtual tours. So it's a virtual tour software. You realize we did it. Holy cow! We really built something awesome. And there's a lot of nuance that goes into it. But I'll tell you this: you can do it too. It's totally possible. Now, the tactics are very important. The beginning, how you choose your market, very important. But it's also very possible. Okay, so I'm gonna, that's kind of my summary. Of kind of where we're at, how we got there. I'm gonna give the story of how CloudPano started in a later video. But welcome to the channel. I'm excited you're here. If you want to learn more about our story, how we're doing this, subscribe below. Talk soon.